Okay, we're live. I think we're live. Right, let's have a look. Look, I'm building up my collection of goodies behind me. Look. So how is everyone? Can you just confirm that you can hear me okay? I'm going to get you up. I'm going to get you up on my phone as well. So the topic was Elvis forced to get married. For some reason, that topic has been grabbing me a minute. Like, we need to talk about it. Obviously, I've got loads of things to talk about, but I try, because I don't get that much time in the day, I just try and focus on one thing. Now, this morning, I really wanted to focus on the lawsuit, the paternity suit from Patricia Parker, obviously in 1970. Quite a few people know about it. The reason it was brought up was Andrew Merenin sent me a long email about it, and I thought, do you know what? I want to talk about it. He was giving me his opinion on Priscilla. He has some great views on Priscilla. Andrew has been very kind to me. He's helped me a bit with the laptop. I really appreciate Andrew's help. So can you hear me okay? Yes, and the video is up. Great. Hi, Maria. I did manage to message most of you, not all of you, but most of you. So let's get you up here so I can see the messages. Right, here we go. I've got the messages up here. Okay, so can I ask you first of all, how many of you think Elvis was forced to get married? How many of you think Elvis wanted to get married? So I think there's about 14 of you on. We've only just started. Hi, Cherie. Just the people here that are watching now. How many of you think Elvis was forced to get married? That is my question. So kids are here, so there could be some noise. And what we're going to do, we're going to play a few clips. I've just started. We're going to play a few clips. Okay, guys? We're just going to look around at some different clips. Right, I'm going to press play. I've never heard this. I don't know what it's going to say. It's titled, Was Elvis Presley Forced into His Wedding with Priscilla? And it's a YouTube channel, Elvis Years. Let's just play it and we'll go from there.
So it's a normal thing to do. I mean, who wants to grow old and be alone? You know what I mean? To find that one girl, it's a thing that you can't rush. A lot of people think if they're not married by a certain age that they're losing out.
So Elvis's own voice, of course. I'm not probably a much younger Elvis. His views did, I think, evolved, you know, from the 50s to the 60s. I'm not sure exactly when this was done, this interview. I got a feeling it's late 50s, could be very early 60s. Let's hear what Elvis says. So you guys are saying, let's have a look. So you're saying, Michelle thinks he was forced. So hi everyone, thanks for joining me. All of you, Lily, Elizabeth, Angie, Michelle, Lorna, Cherie, thanks, Maria, thanks for all joining us. Lily, hope you're well. So Lorna definitely thinks he was forced. Michelle definitely thinks forced. Hi John Sims, how are you? So Andrew Merenin, he said to me, I'm pretty sure Andrew sort of has mixed views. He thinks there was love. Yeah. Now, someone messaged me the other day, why would Elvis let Priscilla move to Graceland unless there was something more to it? You know, how he felt towards Priscilla. We have to understand that. Obviously, in the Anita Wood book, we know that Elvis, there was a dilemma. Anita overhears a conversation with Elvis's father, Vernon. So probably there was love. I think we can accept that. But I also think that the Priscilla that was shown to Elvis in 1959, the Priscilla that first moved over to Gracelands, 62, 63, was a very different Priscilla than the Priscilla that we all know. I think the Priscilla we came to know, you know, through the 70s, was a very different Priscilla. A very different Priscilla. We start to see the real Priscilla. Even the book Child Bride gives us more of an inside look of the true Priscilla. Maybe the whole thing was a plan, a scam, a setup. There's different viewpoints with Priscilla. I personally do believe that Elvis was under a lot of pressure to get married for many reasons. People keep bringing up the Jerry Lee Lewis thing. I don't think that's fair because they were cousins. She was only 13. I don't think it's fair. I personally don't think Elvis was dating a 14-year-old. I think they didn't start properly dating until she was 17, 18. That's just my opinion. So we all have different views. Elizabeth said, I think he was probably forced. So is Judith here? I can't see Judith's comment. Oh yeah, Judith. Hi Judith, how are you? So let's just play. We're going to scout around YouTube. We're going to see what comes up. This is one of the first ones that we've clicked on. Let's just see.
For me, I have to be completely sure. I have to be able to trust them completely. I look for a lot of things now that I used to wouldn't have looked for. You know, a sense of humor, their taste for different things. Just a lot of things. Their understanding of me, my way of thinking. It takes a while. I mean, it takes a while to find someone or to get to trust somebody.
I mean, very, very wise words. Obviously, very famous, very quickly. Yeah, by 1956, he is like the most famous person in the world. Of course, women were falling at his feet, throwing themselves at him. He had to be careful. Who would take advantage of him? Who would use him? Who truly liked Elvis for his heart, his soul, his inside? Yeah. So he didn't really find it easy to trust anyone, which is, I think, why he surrounded himself in so many people, not just the Memphis Mafia. I do believe that he trusted Anita Wood, So how do you pick a girlfriend when everyone you know that's female adores you? It's a tough one. So Judith says, I think he was probably forced and couldn't say no. So I keep saying this to people. It was very different in the 50s and 60s. It was quite normal for a man in his 20s to date a teenager. Now, we don't accept that now, do we? In 2025, we don't accept that. A man in his mid-20s with a girl so young. But we're in 1959, 1960, 61, 62, 63. Things were very different. Even the 70s were different. Many teenagers married men in their 20s. I'm not saying it was right. I'm saying we're in 2025. We can't use our 2025 eyes on 1959. That wouldn't be fair. So, hi, Regina. Let's have a look. Regina's life coaching. That's interesting. Hi, Regina. Welcome to our channel. We're called Defending Elvis. We also have another channel called Elvis Presley Fan on Keto, where we help people's health as well as lighthearted Elvis stuff. The topic of today is, was Elvis forced to get married? Did he want to get married? Is it something he always did? I've always thought that a very young Elvis, when he was with people like Dixie and I'm trying to remember Magdalene, people like that. I think he was quite keen on the idea of settling down young, having children young. But when fame kicks in, when fame transforms his life, suddenly marriage wasn't such a great idea. Let's keep going, guys. Like a man on a fuzzy tree. My friends say I'm acting wild as a bug. I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Yeah. What? So Judith says Priscilla was definitely different in her younger years. I believe that. I think the early Priscilla doted on Elvis. We're not sure about the child bride view of things. Who knows with the Curry Grant? But I also believe that when Priscilla had a taste of wealth, living in Gracelands, a taste of the Californian Hollywood lifestyle, she wanted it. This is my view. When Priscilla's eyes were opened to the possibilities of her own success, her own fame, her own self-interest, modeling, being on TV, making movies, a new Priscilla emerged. This is my view, just an opinion.
Wedding bells rang in Vegas on May 1st, 1967.
Who do you think of when you have such a look? I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Yeah. Oh, please don't ask me what.
Accounts later suggested that Priscilla's father had threatened to have Elvis charged under the Mann Act.
And I keep hearing this, obviously the people bring up the Jerry Lee Lewis stuff. Josie says Elvis lost his trust for Priscilla after she cheated on him the first time. Then after that, he gave up trust with her. I agree with that. Lisa Marie's born. 3 months later, Priscilla's unfaithful. Now, we know that leading up to the engagement, Elvis lived as a single man. But after the engagement in December 66, I think Elvis calmed down for a period. I think Elvis was loyal and faithful through the pregnancy in the first year of the marriage. Once Lisa Marie was first born, I think Elvis was faithful. I really do. I agree with what Josie says. He catches Priscilla being unfaithful, which he's admitted to on page 262 of this book. She calls him Mark. And then Elvis loses trust with Priscilla, and he goes back to his old ways.
Taking a minor across state lines for sexual purposes, if he refused to marry her.
The day he asked.
So I'll just rewind that a little bit so you can hear that, what it's just said. Let's keep going.
Refused to marry her.
The day he asked me to be the best man, he told me,
Yeah.
I don't want to get married, but I'm being
did.
forced to.
Yeah.
Because Elvis's lifespan with a woman was anywhere from 2 to 4 years.
I need to interject. It wasn't because he didn't love her.
No.
He did love
he
her.
cared
He didn't
about
want to
her.
get
Sure he
married
did.
because he shouldn't have been married. He
No.
didn't want to
No,
marry.
I know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the key.
She knew.
So you can hear Billy Smith, you can hear Marty Lacker. I think the other one's Lamar Fike. They're clearly saying, yeah, was that a delivery? Sorry, there might be a delivery. They're clearly saying he didn't want to get married.
What she was getting into after she was here for maybe 6 months.
Well, she was in the whirlwind. There's no doubt about that.
Once she had a ring on her finger.
So Josie is saying she cheated before Steve Peck, the dance instructor. Is this true? I've heard about the gospel singer. I've forgotten his name now. Josie, remind me of his name. The gospel singer that she really liked. What was his name? You tell me. So Judith says Elvis was mainly married to his career, and I do think once he was propelled to the sort of stardom that he had and the movie making, things changed.
Is when she tried to separate Elvis from us.
That's a good point.
Because the fact of the matter is, we would have loved to spend more time with our families.
So I've heard this a few times. Priscilla didn't seem to like the Memphis Mafia around, even didn't like living at Gracelands. She wanted Elvis to herself. Now, it's interesting to see what Billy Smith's, if he agrees with this, what Marty Lacker thinks, just listening to this part of the conversation.
Yeah.
But he insisted, as you all know, he insisted that we be there.
That's right.
He pushed her in a certain position. We've all agreed with this.
Oh, he had every position you could think of.
Yeah, but I mean, no, but I mean, she
Well, a crude sort of gesture.
was only around when
Pick
he
a
wanted
position,
her around.
Delvin.
Billy did. No, Billy did.
Yeah, pick a position.
But he really gave her no choice because he did leave her
Perhaps had more
alone so
airtime than a
much.
Goodyear blend.
I think he tried.
He left her
Listen,
alone a
I
lot.
think
Yeah, so Josie says it was Mylon Lverve. I've done a video on this. I've done a live stream on this. I think he was a great singer, wasn't he? but he liked Elvis. And this is what I've learned, that when Priscilla, she would go and see him regularly, like in concert. This is what I've read, guys. I could be wrong. Put me right if I'm wrong. But he was such a decent man. He wasn't going to give in to Priscilla's advances, allegedly, for entertainment purposes. And he was never going to get off with Elvis's wife. He liked Elvis. He respected Elvis. And I think Mylon the Verve was always good and true and honest and decent. Is that right? So Josie Jones, Priscilla post that I've cheated when she was 7 months pregnant. That's why he wanted a separation. And we keep hearing about this alleged separation Elvis was asking for. The story has been twisted. It's in the Priscilla film, Sofia Coppola. It's in there. We've heard it in other things as well. We don't know the truth, do we? We don't know the truth. Clayton, Elvis inspires me to always follow my dreams. I like that. The subject is, was Elvis forced to get married? Mylon loved Elvis, but he said if she wasn't with Elvis, he wouldn't have gone with Priscilla. Yeah, I've read this, yeah.
He tried, and and right after they got married, remember that, he cut back on the group, so I think he was trying to make that change. Carl liked the change.
Yeah, and I've heard this. Once they got married, engaged, have the baby, he was trying to tone it down, be loyal, be faithful, be a good father, be a good husband. This all gets thrown out the window when she is caught having an affair with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, that some say she even took to the 68 Comeback Special rehearsals, and there's a picture of them together. So it's not good, guys. You got a small baby, still in nappies. She admits, whilst with Elvis, all she could think about was Steve Peck. Page 262, she calls him Mark. So it's about as bad as it gets, isn't it? Sitting at home with your husband who has done everything for you, fully committed their life to you, got engaged, fulfilled their promises, bought you a nice, beautiful home, and all you're doing is thinking about another man.
Priscilla liked to change to some degree.
Well,
She
Colonel
would
was
like
trying
to
to keep
cut
that
it down,
control factor,
but he didn't like it.
February 1st, 1968, saw an expansion of the Presley family. Priscilla.
Now remember, February, the birth of Lisa Marie, beautiful Lisa Marie, who we adore and miss, and we want justice for Lisa Marie. 3 months later, she's unfaithful, and she admits it.
Gave birth to Elvis's only child, a daughter named Lisa Marie.
You can do anything but lay over my blue suede shoe. You can knock me down, step at my face, stand in my eyes all over the.
Right, okay, let's we're going to just let this play out because I love this song. And then we're going to keep looking. Stefan, where have you been hiding? Stefan, artist on record. We've missed you, my friend. What's happening?
You want to do, but honey, lay over my shoes and don't you.
So remember the topic. So Stefan's just joined us at Artist on Record on YouTube. Please subscribe to him. The topic is, was Elvis forced to marry Priscilla? This is the topic. So what we're just sort of scouting around, and we're seeing different videos discussing this. We're giving you guys a chance to give your input. Please put in the comments, was Elvis forced to marry Priscilla, and why? Let's see what we can see. Let's just get a few little clips up that we've done. Let's have a look.
Elvis's father, Vernon, kisses his new daughter-in-law for luck. America's most eligible bachelor is now a married man.
Elvis should never have been married. He loved femininity. He just was not meant to be married because he was.
But he said, the colonel said, that you got an image to keep up. And he said, you've been with her for a while, and the people know it. And I'm just saying what Elvis told me in later years. This is what he told me, that the colonel actually, told him it was time for him to get married.
See, he and I, when we got home, we had a bad argument. Look, you got to understand, I'm under a lot of pressure. Yeah, what kind of pressure? Just like that. And he said, they're pressuring me into marrying Priscilla. And I looked at him and said, what do you mean, who's pressuring you? He said, her father. They threatened to sue me if I don't marry her, breach a promise, and
Interesting words, guys. These are just a couple of old shorts that I made a while ago. I'm going to click on a few more, see what it said.
Dad, there's a rumor.
Now, I warn you, I made these before I became Defending Elvis. This is when we were called Louis' World of Elvis. So I'm not completely against Priscilla when I was making these videos.
That you forced Elvis, that you called Elvis, and you forced him, or basically put him on the line.
Yeah, I forced Elvis to.
I can imagine that myself. There's no way.
Well, there is a rumor out there that Colonel Bowyer called and told Elvis, gave him an ultimatum: you either marry my daughter or that's it. Yeah, now there is that rumor. I just want to make sure.
I know about the rumor, but or what? What was I going to do?
I was going to call the Marines. Well, he always reassured us that everything was on the up and up and all that. And he always seemed very sincere.
He showed us the ring that he was going to give to you.
He was good to you and Dad. He was really good to you. He really kept you informed.
No, we loved Elvis. There was no question about that. He was a true son-in-law.
Okay, well, strong words, guys. So Josie says, yes, he was forced. Her father was going to sue him and tell the media that Prissy was living with Elvis since 15. Well, Josie, that doesn't make sense, because Elvis met her at 14 briefly in Germany. But they're in Bad Nauheim in his rented house while he's serving for his country. Then he doesn't see her for a couple of years, and then she visits Graceland around 17, moves in nearly 18. So how can the father say threaten him if she didn't move to Graceland until she was 17, nearly 18? So it's not straightforward, is it? It's not straightforward. I'd love to see any kind of proof. He just got... Hi, Frederick. How you going, my friend? That's the whole reason her parents took her there right before she turned 18. Right, okay. So, Amy, that's the whole reason her parents took her there right before she was 18. Right, Amy, can you expand on that? I'm not sure your point. Amy, please expand on that if you don't mind. So let's have a look. I'm just checking your comments, guys. She didn't move in until she was almost 18. She came in March 1963. She turned 18 in May. Right, the kids are in here, guys. Let's have a look. She visited Graceland at 16 for 2 weeks and came back to stay there. I think, Jonesy, I think it was 17. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm pretty sure she was 17. Put me right if I'm wrong. Stefan, how you been keeping? You all right, my friend? Right, let's click on another video.
you got to understand I'm under a lot of pressure. And I still, I said, yeah, what kind of pressure? Just like that. And he said, they're pressuring me into marrying Priscilla. And I looked at him and said, what do you mean, who's pressuring me? He said, her father. And they threatened to sue me if I don't marry her, breach a promise. And I looked at him. My first reaction, I wanted to say, pardon the language, I wanted to tell them to go fuck themselves, And I held back. I didn't say nothing. I still was in that mood, and he says, I'm going to have to do it.
So, so I get what Amy is saying. Hi, Amy. But Amy, can I just ask, it was 17, wasn't it? When she moves over, when Priscilla comes over finally, I know she had 2 or 3 visits, but she was 17 when she moved over. So yes, I see that. In America, 17 is still classed as a minor. I think Amy is saying that the father wanted her to move in with Elvis while she was still a minor so they could threaten him. Is that right? So they could almost blackmail him. Is that right? So they could hold it over his head that a minor was living with him. She was definitely 17, almost 18. She was born in 1945. She moved to Graceland in March 1963. Why didn't her parents wait until she graduated instead of changing schools so close to graduation? Yes. Right. So Amy says, yes, she was 17 for sure when she moved in with Vernon and Dee. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Let's see what else we can find, guys. Right, here's another one. Let's have a look. Just so you know, I haven't watched these, so we're all watching these for the first time, okay?
Welcome to the Elvis Presley channel.
Yeah, use this one.
There was quite a stir about the King of Rock and Roll's marriage to Priscilla Presley. Elvis Presley's marriage to Priscilla.
Now, guys, I've never watched this, okay? So we might hear things in this that we don't like. This could be a fake Elvis channel. Let's just see what is said, okay, guys? Just so you know, this channel is called Elvis Presley Channel. The title is, was Elvis Presley forced to marry Priscilla? Now, these are not my views. I've just clicked on it. We're just doing an as we go type live stream. I don't know what's going to be said. Okay, guys, let's just see if we're going to like this channel or not. Or is it a fake Elvis channel? Let's find out.
Lasted barely 6 years, yet it was one of the most recognised celebrity marriages of the time. Elvis's sole marriage was to Priscilla Presley, with whom he had one daughter, Lisa Marie Presley. The relationship between the two wasn't as smooth as it appeared on the surface, but Elvis fell in love with her when he was in his early 20s, and he was reportedly under pressure to marry a woman 10 years his junior. Before we head to the main part of this video, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's get this ball rolling. Elvis was forced to marry Priscilla.
Right, here we go, guys. Let's see.
Elvis and Priscilla Presley were one of the most famous couples of their time. Even so, the manner they met and fell in love was a little unusual, and while the couple's romance is still talked about, it wasn't the fairy tale that everyone imagined. Elvis Presley and Priscilla Presley's love tale may not be for everyone. Priscilla was 10 years Elvis's junior, and the two met while Elvis was serving in the military, and Priscilla was only 14 years old. Priscilla went to see Elvis with some pals, and he was immediately taken with her. He sang her several songs, and they kissed the next time they saw each other. Priscilla was still too young for Elvis. Although they started a relationship, Elvis and Priscilla never married. He insisted that they wait, despite her wishes. Elvis kept his distance from her until they married, but it didn't mean he didn't have other relationships.
Okay, so far so good. Let's keep going.
Elvis eventually persuaded Priscilla's parents to let her date him. She, on the other hand, remained in Germany when he returned to the United States. Despite
that's not straightforward. Yeah. Persuaded the parents to let her date him. We need more information.
Despite this, Elvis phoned Priscilla and urged her to join him in the United States after nearly...
Well, again, it says this person is saying that Elvis phoned Priscilla and urged her to join him. We don't know, do we? Was it the other way round? We know she was sending him letters, she's sending him records. There had been a good 18-month gap before, before she finally moves over for a visit. So Elvis wasn't even home when they brought her over. He was filming fun in Acapulco. And she even says that she slowly started moving her things in before he asked her to. She pushed her way in. And I've read this, guys. I have read this.
2 years of silence, according to biography. Elvis was able to persuade Priscilla's parents to agree to the move once more. When Priscilla moved to the United States...
So, is this going to be a Priscilla fan channel? Is this one of these Priscilla worship channels? that everything is Elvis's fault, nothing is Priscilla's fault. Let's see.
She stayed at Graceland with Elvis. Despite some reservations about the couple's age gap, Elvis seemed to love it.
I don't agree with it, that comment. We know she stayed with Vernon and Dee at first. Remember, I've never watched this. Let's see what he says. It could be a Priscilla channel. The Bulows lived so old that they played a sizable role in Riley's life. Let's have a look. And let's not forget that the clip of Anita saying she found letters where Priscilla was begging to come. Good point, Amy. Thank you, Amy. Amy's one of our researchers. Let's just keep going with it, guys.
Priscilla's inexperience, he allegedly told a buddy, allowed him to teach her any way I want.
See, these comments, do we really know that they were said? Do we really know they were said? This is how it's so unfair to Elvis. He can't defend himself. So I got a feeling we're going to be doing some defending, guys.
Even so, Elvis was undecided about marrying her. Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's manager, pressed him to walk down the aisle. Parker didn't think it was a good image.
But is that true? Was Colonel Tom Parker part of the reason Elvis, he just said, pressed him to walk down the aisle?
For Elvis to have a minor living with him and then not to marry her. Even though the couple's relationship was already exhibiting fractures, Elvis agreed and went ahead with the marriage.
There's a bit more to it than that, I think, but we know from different reports that he didn't want to get married.
Elvis preyed on his wife both before and after their marriage, and Priscilla eventually decided she couldn't take it anymore. Since the beginning of their relationship, Elvis had been...
So, do you hear that, guys? Priscilla decided she didn't want to take it anymore. That ain't true. That isn't true. Now, I agree that in the early 60s, she moved over, Elvis lived as a single man until they got engaged and married, had a baby. But Priscilla is the one that is unfaithful. Priscilla is the one. Don't forget, she's admitted it. Yeah? Page 262, she calls him Mark. Priscilla is the one that is unfaithful after the marriage, after the birth, when Lisa Marie is 3-4 months old. So that comment, her saying Priscilla couldn't take it anymore, is very unfair.
Unfaithful to Priscilla. He knew he couldn't have intercourse with her because she was too young, so he looked for satisfaction elsewhere.
This is... Do you know what? Whenever I call people fake Elvis channels, I get told off, but that is what this is. This isn't correct, is it? Come on, guys. Let me read. Dee says in an interview that when Priscilla started moving her things to Graceland, Dee called her parents to make sure it was okay, and they didn't care. Yes, she had hot pants right after having a baby. Abnormal behaviour. It is abnormal, though. Having an affair with your dance instructor when the baby's in nappies, Lisa Marie, is pretty out there. It's pretty bizarre.
The infidelity, however, continued, and Priscilla began to have affairs of her own.
That's better. The infidelity continued, and Presley started having affairs of her own. That's better.
Elvis set her up with a karate instructor, and Priscilla had an affair with him.
That sounds weird. Elvis set her up with a karate instructor. Well, no, Elvis didn't it wasn't yeah, go and bonk the karate instructor, which that sounded a bit like. But yes, Elvis set her up with karate lessons, but even that isn't true. She had seen Mike Stone before at tournaments. Yeah, he's a well-known karate champion. He had won dozens of championships. He was very well-known in the karate world. Friends with very famous people like Bruce Lee and many other Chuck Norris, people like that. Now, she approached Mike Stone and chatted him up at an event. This is in Mike Stone interviews, at least 2 interviews. Mike Stone says she approached him, yeah, and chatted him up. So it was her idea to have karate lessons. She initially wasn't going to have karate lessons with Mike Stone. I think it was going to be with Chuck Norris. She suggested from what I've read, that he gives her karate lessons. Yeah, is that right? Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. This is what it said in the interview. So let's keep going, guys. Let's just read some of these comments. So I assume that Elvis Presley Enterprises probably pushed favourable view of Priscilla for many decades, as she was the chairman of it all. Yeah, Frederick, I agree. She had too much power. Favourable views because she's got the power. Elvis, every other woman he ever dated wasn't 14. They were all mature women. She was the opposite of everyone he'd ever dated. Well said, Amy. Thank you. I agree. These auto-generated videos, or whatever they're called, are always filled with inaccurate information. I don't think I've ever watched more than 5 minutes of one. They're so ridiculous. It could be auto-generated. It could be, couldn't it? I agree. Fake Elvis channels. She pushed herself on Mike Stone. Mike Stone admits it. Yeah, she does. It makes you insane. I know. In 1963, Presley's parents let her visit Elvis in Los Angeles for 2 weeks. She returned to Germany and came back for Christmas 62. Thank you, Josie. Thank you. Yeah, the fake channels, yeah. She chose to drive over an hour each way to the train. Yeah. Mike Stone has said he wasn't actually an instructor. He wasn't an instructor. Yeah. Okay, let's press play.
When she told Elvis about the connection, she was forthright. He allegedly handled it poorly, thrusting himself on her, and then contemplated hiring a hitman to murder.
So this is where there's this alleged rape, yeah, holding her down. I think it was in one of the melodramas. Did it happen? Priscilla has been caught lying many times. Did it happen? I don't think so. So yes, of course Elvis was embarrassed and infuriated that the whole world knew that his wife was having sex with Mike Stone, one of the most famous karate champions at the time. Of course he was. It was humiliating. It was a very public marriage. He had already caught her doing it with Steve Peck after the, not long after the marriage, about a year or so after the marriage, she's there with the dance instructor. So, of course, Elvis was very upset.
Murder her lover. Needless to say, the couple's marriage did not survive all of these difficulties. Even so, when she discovered that Elvis had died in 1977, Priscilla writes in her...
Right, before I jump back on that, it's not as simple as that. Now, people disagree with me on this. I personally think she demanded a divorce around the end of 71, early 72, that it was happening. Mike Stone has said it in 2 different interviews that I've seen. Now, I don't see why Mike Stone would lie about it. Mike Stone says she told him she was going to demand a divorce. Now, we know that Elvis filed for the divorce. In 73, it all becomes official. We know about the first divorce settlement. But I personally think Elvis didn't have a choice. This is just my view. Some people message me saying, oh, no, Elvis demanded the divorce. I do think he obviously played a part in the decision. But I don't think she was going to give him a choice. I think she wanted out. Mike Stone was her way out. Just my opinion, guys. I could be wrong. Yeah. I just think she had her eye on being Elvis. Her eye on fame, fortune, TV stardom, movie stardom, modeling, being in business, selling products, advertisements. I just think that is where her mind was. And to do that, she had to break away from Elvis. She had to break away. Elvis was in her way. I believe that, guys. She definitely put Lisa Marie last. Priscilla came first. Just my opinion, guys.
A memoir that she wanted to die. Elvis controlled every aspect of Priscilla's life.
Even, you know where we're going with this, guys. This is when it all starts with the lies of this book. A load of rubbish. Just a reinvention of the truth. I've said it a million times. A fake fairy tale that went wrong. So I'm going to come off this video now, because all that's going to happen now on this video is he's going to start talking about that Elvis controlled her and groomed her. That was just a fake Elvis channel. Elvis Presley channel. You are a fake Elvis channel. Is it artificially made? Is it one of these AI ones? I don't know, guys. Let's move on to the next thing we can find. Right. Elvis Wedding Heartbreak Behind the Smile. Let's have a look. I'm going to try and find a short one. Was Elvis forced to get... I want to play a short one because we don't have that much long, guys. Tony, we miss you. Tony, are you not on Instagram anymore? Because I've been trying to message you. Tony, here's my mobile if you want to put me on WhatsApp. If you're not on Instagram anymore, I can talk to you on WhatsApp. But we've missed you, Tony. Right, let me just think. Right, what is this? Was Elvis forced to get married? Let's click on this one.
Elvis Presley's marriage to Priscilla lasted a mere 6 years. Despite its brevity, it became one of the most famed celebrity unions of its time. His bond with Priscilla resulted in the birth of their daughter, Lisa Marie Presley. Though appearing harmonious, their relationship faced underlying challenges. Elvis, smitten in his early 20s, succumbed to external pressures to wed a woman a decade his junior. This classic marriage stirred much speculation about whether Elvis was truly compelled into matrimony with...
Let me just quickly read your comments. According to the deposition, they had been living apart for months. He approached her in July of 72 to get the divorce rolling. And obviously Amy knows what she's talking about. She obviously with the documents. But I also go by Mike Stone's words. Yeah. He clearly says Priscilla had told him she was having a divorce. She was having a divorce. This is why I come with my opinion. Obviously, when you go by the documents, I understand what Amy's saying. Yeah. Didn't she say at his funeral, people think I'm wearing sunglasses, I'm crying, but I'm not. I'm laughing. I keep hearing that. Is it true? Debbie, is this true? Does anyone know if this is true? Colonel Tom Parker was playing a matchmaker to create a living set of alive Ken and Barbie dolls. Colonel Parker was the snowman and Elvis Presley the showman. Okay, Larry, I hope you're well, my friend. Important to note, this is Amy. He met Linda in July of 72. They had been living apart for a long time. She told Elvis Christmas at 71 she wanted out. Yes, and I keep hearing this. It was the end of 71. Yeah? She wanted out. Elvis announced at the movies one night in January 1972 it was over. Okay? Isn't that when he first met Linda? Yeah? So Finola, he was forced into marriage. Could be Riley. Lisa's book, quickly so-called Priscilla. Sorry, I can't understand. Yeah, Amy, thank you. I really believe Mike Stone was her way out. I don't think she loved Mike Stone. I think she used him like a rock, dropped him like a rock. I'm surprised they lasted as long as they did. But he was used and abused. Okay, let's keep going.
With Priscilla. During his time in the military, Elvis met Priscilla, who was only 14 at the time. Despite her young age, they started a relationship after she visited him with friends. Elvis.
God, do you know what? We don't know this. We don't know the ins and outs, do we? We're not fly on the walls here. We don't know this. What we do know is that in 1960, Elvis was back to America, filming GI Blues, doing the Frank Sinatra show, Welcome Home Elvis, and doing more albums with RCA Victor. they didn't see each other for quite a long time, up to nearly 2 years. So we don't really know what happened in Germany. We don't. In 1959, we don't know. We have Priscilla's words. We've caught Priscilla lying.
Elvis, aware of the age gap, insisted they wait before considering marriage. This classic's early romance with Priscilla marked a significant chapter in his life. Their story resonated with many fans, showcasing a unique bond that transcended age boundaries. Elvis's decision to wait reflected a sense of responsibility and care towards Priscilla, displaying a maturity beyond his years. Their relationship would go on to captivate the public and become...
I'm not even going to play it, guys. It's just that is just another Priscilla, fake Priscilla channel that it just wants to make Elvis look bad and Priscilla look like she has done nothing wrong. It's just bullshit. Let's find another one. Let's have a look. Oh, look, there's a little clip here. Now, I don't remember this. Let's just listen to it.
You know, I went through it before. You know, you were there. Yeah. What I'm saying. That wedding thing. You know, that wedding thing. I had nothing to do with that. That was railroaded through. I didn't even know who was there. It was all in a little room outside of the bathroom. It was the Supreme Court justice. It was standing there over done with some quicker. So I realized I was married.
The day he asked me to be the best man, he told me.
Yeah.
I don't want to get married, but I'm being forced to.
Yeah.
Because Elvis's lifespan with a woman was anywhere from 2 to 4 years.
I need to interject. It wasn't because he didn't love her.
No,
he did love
he
her.
cared.
He didn't want to get married because he shouldn't have been married. He didn't want to marry.
No, I know.
Yeah, that's the key.
She knew what she was getting into after she was here for maybe 6 months.
Well, she was in the whirlwind. There's no doubt about that.
Once she had a ring on her finger is when she tried to separate Elvis from us.
That's a good point.
Because the fact of the matter is, we would have loved to spend more time with our families.
Yeah.
But he insisted, as you all know, he insisted that we be there.
That's right.
He really gave her no choice because he didn't.
Her ass had more airtime than a Goodyear blend.
I think he tried.
He left her alone.
I think he tried, and right after they got married, remember that he cut back on.
Okay, well, we know that obviously it's well known, isn't it? The being the Red West conversation, that he was railroaded into it. He just didn't. It was done and dusted before he knew it. So what's this? Let me see if I can find something else. See, look, this is annoying. The strict rules that Priscilla had to follow when married. I tell you what, these fake Elvis channels are popping up everywhere that are supporting Priscilla and making Elvis look bad. It's bloody annoying. There's so many of them now. Let's have a look. She was vindictive because she wanted to come back and Elvis told her no. Yep, I've read all about this. She wanted to come back. He was crying to Nancy Brooks. He didn't want to marry her. Yep, I've read all about that. Yeah, Debbie, there's so many of these fake channels. So when I'm scanning through these channels, I'm trying to find one that actually is... Well, let's listen to this. It says, when Priscilla Presley was confronted about his affairs...
During the filming of Viva Las Vegas, Elvis began an affair with his co-star Anne Margaret. When Priscilla read these reports in the press, she confronted Elvis. He told her they were simply rumors to promote the film and that she should not believe everything she read in the press. For the next few years, Elvis valued what he saw.
The thing about, that's a different period because I'm talking about the marriage now. Let me just see. Here we go. Why was there a second reception? Did Elvis really want to marry? Right, okay.
What's up, guys?
I think we've got, this is Elvis is the man, yeah? as far as I know, a very good Elvis channel. It's not a fake channel. It's a proper, genuine Elvis channel. Let's see what his views are on whether Priscilla was forced to marry Elvis.
So in this video, I want to talk about the second reception.
Sorry, other way around. Whether Elvis was forced to marry Priscilla.
That Elvis had for his wedding, and it was at Graceland. It was at the end of May, about 1 month after Elvis's actual wedding date. I want to talk about the events that led up to it and the drama that actually happened because of this. Now, Elvis's friends, most of them weren't at his wedding and wedding reception, most notably Red West and Sonny West, and that caused a big rift between them.
So this is well known, isn't it, guys? This is well known that it was a rushed wedding at the Aladdin, and many of the members of Elvis's entourage, Memphis Mafia, weren't there, and they were upset. Red West being quite a high-profile, well-known name.
So the story takes place basically at the end of 1966. At the end of 1966, Elvis proposed to Priscilla, and Elvis, a lot of reports say, and a lot of Elvis fans aren't going to want to hear this, but Elvis didn't want to marry Priscilla. Okay.
So it's funny that Elvis is the man says that, because obviously there are a lot of Priscilla fans that don't want people yeah, I'm just finishing up here, then you can do that. So hi beautiful, you okay? Well, I'm finishing now, but let's just play a bit more. 1 second, darling. You all right? Love you. You okay?
The Colonel was putting a lot of pressure on Elvis, saying either marry her or cut her loose because this is going to look bad. Priscilla
So it does seem like the Colonel was a big part of it, yeah?
was living at Graceland since 1962, so it had been almost 5 years that she was living with Elvis, and Colonel was saying, hey, this isn't going to look good if you let this go on too much longer. And, you know, maybe he was giving him some good advice, but Elvis, you know, no doubt felt pressure because for whatever reason you may want to say, Elvis didn't want to go through with the marriage. He didn't want to marry her. Maybe they would have separated.
So Amy says the wedding was pushed back many times, and then after he hit his head, the marriage was rushed again. We know about the head hitting incident, don't we? The censor, Luke, Colonel Tom Parker told Elvis either marry her or get rid of her. Your fans don't like you living with someone unmarried. Lynn, I think she was pregnant because she had Lisa exactly 9 months after the wedding. The first babies rarely arrive exactly after 9 months. I get that. That's possible, isn't it, Lynn? Thank you, Lynn. Lynn, are you new? Welcome to Team Elvis. Yeah, she uses Elvis's songs a lot. And that's a tip to me that Priscilla back on good terms with EPE and so on, or they could ban her from using after she dumped Bridget. So yeah, I've heard this a few times now. People think that Priscilla's back in there with Elvis Presley Enterprises. Obviously, it's complicated to do all the Bridget Cruz stuff that's happening.
But Elvis wasn't into it. And also reports say that Priscilla's dad was threatening Elvis that he's going to go to the press and say, you took my daughter who was underage across state lines and you didn't live up to what you promised me. And what, you know, the promise was is that Elvis wanted to marry Priscilla, have her come with me to Memphis. She'll stay at a different house, at a different place, go to a Catholic school, but that didn't happen. Now, Priscilla did go to a Catholic school, but she stayed at Graceland with Elvis. And according to Priscilla and all other reports, you know, they were never intimate. Elvis wanted her to stay a virgin until marriage, and they got married when she was 21. So the Colonel arranged quickly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at least I think at least Elvis is the man. I'm not sure what his name is. At least he's being a bit more honest, being fair, being unbiased. He's just giving us the information that many of us have heard hundreds of times. Yeah.
for a wedding to take place on May 1st, 1967. So they got engaged at the end of 66 around Christmas time, and 5 months later they were getting married in Las Vegas. The Colonel arranged it all, and that's probably one of the reasons why Red and Sonny weren't there, and some of Elvis' close family and friends that he had since he was a child. Colonel wanted a private wedding, which Elvis did also, and
Yeah, Dan, thank you. Yeah, I mean, Elvis is the man. I've watched quite a few of his videos. He's got a good channel. He's a proper Elvis fan, isn't he? He's a genuine Elvis fan.
a lot of the people that Elvis grew up with and they were close with didn't make it. Now, Red was told supposedly that he was invited, but for whatever reason, Red wasn't able to get in. And so Red was obviously hurt, Sonny was hurt, and others. And a little detail I want to add before I get to this wedding reception that was held at Graceland to kind of pacify his friends and family who weren't able to make it was Elvis's cook. Her name was Alberta. She knew Elvis's mom, Gladys.
So this is what Amy was telling us about just now.
And went way back with Elvis. And she tells a story about how she was at Graceland and found Elvis crying about the wedding that was coming about because he felt pressured that he had to go through with it. And she says that she told Elvis, if you feel this way, why don't you cancel it? You need to cancel it. And he says, you don't understand. I have no choice. I have to go through with it. And
well, that says a lot, doesn't it, guys? Yeah, I think that's really well explained. I think his name's David. And so let's keep going with it, guys.
And, a lot of Elvis fans don't like hearing this stuff. They'll say it's a lie, but that's, what she said. And all reports say that, Elvis just did not want to go through with this. Maybe he...
I agree. I personally don't think Elvis was ready to settle down. I really don't.
Would have later on, but at that moment in time, he wasn't marrying her and didn't want to, according to all first-hand accounts of the people that were there. Now, Red and Sonny weren't there, as I mentioned earlier. Elvis's best men were Joe.
I think a big argument that is said between Elvis fans was Priscilla pregnant. I can tell that Amy thinks no. Many people want to know, was she pregnant at the wedding? Many people want to know. If you look at this picture, it's the angle of this picture. She does look quite big at that angle. Who knows, guys? I mean, she wouldn't have been very far gone, would she? She wouldn't have been very far gone. So I actually have no idea. Was she or wasn't she?
Esposito and Marty Lacker. And Red's like, hey, how are they going to be your best? Like, I knew you since high school. And it caused a big split between them. And you could maybe make a case for saying some of these events, like maybe that started, with this wedding reception and not being at the wedding, these events could have led to them making that tell-all book.
So he's bringing up obviously some of the Memphis Mafia were not happy, which could have been part of the reason why why Dave Hebler, Red West, Sonny West ended up making this book. So what do you think, guys? Pat says, let's have a look. She thinks she was pregnant. How many of you guys think Priscilla was pregnant? How many of you? Put it in the comments, guys. So Vincenzo says she got pregnant after the honeymoon. Pat says, I don't think Elvis wanted to marry Priscilla. Chicky Blue, people going on hard on Elvis after 30 to settle down, even though he was a rock star. Finola, a lot of men got cold feet. He could have just wanted to be a bachelor for longer. That's fair enough. Amy is explaining about the 40 weeks pregnancy and giving, explaining why there's a chance she was not pregnant. Let's not forget Elvis loved babies and children. Yeah, he sure did. But she never gained that much weight when she was pregnant. She starved to stuff. She should have been shown. Yes, and we've heard about this, haven't we? Wasn't she eating apples You know, I've read these reports.
In 1977, Elvis, what happened? Not that I think they're justified in doing it, but you know, some of these events could be leading up to that, and the resentment that they felt, I guess.
So Larry thinks no, she was not pregnant. Let's keep going, guys.
It was never resolved, and having the second wedding reception didn't make them feel any better. They both felt hurt. They held a grudge. Like I said, Red West quit on Elvis over this matter. Obviously, he came back to work for him, but Red was extremely hurt and offended. So Elvis and Priscilla had a second wedding reception on May 29th back at Graceland for all the family and friends that couldn't make it, and maybe it was too far or they weren't invited, but wanted to be there. And, you know,
so you mentioned Red West. I don't know about this. So did Red West temporarily quit because he wasn't invited to the wedding? Because obviously this would have been 1967. We know that Red West carried on working for Elvis right up until, you know, at least the end of 76. I'm not sure the actual date when Red West was fired by Vernon. So did they fall out? Did Red West fall out with Elvis over this, over not being invited to the wedding? Obviously, there was a reception after at Graceland's. I'm not sure. I'm learning as I go, guys. Lisa would have been way overdue if she was pregnant at the wedding. The maths simply doesn't add up. Thanks, Amy. Listen to the secret phone call. Yeah, with Red West, Elvis addresses why they weren't able to attend the ceremony. He claims there wasn't enough room for everybody. Thank you, Carolyn. Dan, I never thought she was, but now that we see that he said, you don't understand, I could have meant it. It could have meant that she was. I get what you're saying, Dan. Elvis wasn't just getting his career off the ground, so marriage was the last thing on his mind. That's Pat. Depleting, poor baby. Lisa Marie in her bed. Let's have a look. Sounds like a rush wedding. This is Trudy. Sounds like a rush wedding. She was pregnant. Even Priscilla Bulow dress looks like pregnancy dress. This is Trudy. Lisa was a small baby. Amy. I agree, Larry. She had chose an ugly dress. Elvis could have called it a potato sack. Natalie, she wasn't pregnant. Marty Lacker designed Elvis's tux and a dress for Priscilla. Priscilla told him to mind his business and chose that ugly dress. Okay, I didn't know that. Vernon fired Red West on the 13th of July, 1976. Great info, Vincenzo. Red never quit before that, Lily. Thank you, Vincenzo. Thank you. Thank you very much. So you're saying they didn't fall out over Red West not being invited to the wedding at the Aladdin. Okay? Right. Let's keep going.
You could blame Elvis for this. You could blame the Colonel for this. I blame both, but I lean a little towards Colonel, and this is the reason why. Colonel wanted a private wedding, as did Elvis. He only had a few press members there for the reception, you know, just to take some pictures. You know, they had MGM cameramen there, 2 of them, to take some pictures and just document it, you know, for the press. But they wanted something very private. And then after that first reception, May 1st, they had a breakfast for the people that were there.
Yeah, and I've heard about the breakfast they had. Well, let me just read Josie's comment. Parker changed his mind and didn't let Red and others attend. They were downstairs waiting and he was not happy. Marty was supposed to be best man for Elvis, and Parker changed it to Joe Esposito. Okay, thank you.
And a very expensive breakfast, I might add. I think it was like $10,000. And so then Elvis and Priscilla fly away to...
So Elizabeth says, I don't know anyone who was exactly to the day. Obviously, she's talking about giving birth. It's true, guys. Some people, they'll go over 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks over. Some people have it early. So it is hard to predict, isn't it? So Amy says there was a falling out for time with Red and Elvis over the wedding, but they made up. Yeah, I'm interested to know if the falling out was so bad that Red stayed away for a while. I'd like to know that. They show a scene in the Elvis movie with Kurt Russell that Elvis got angry about not being invited, but he didn't quit, Louis. Okay. I'd like to know if he just disappeared for a few weeks. That's what I'd like to know. Because Amy says they definitely fell out.
To Palm Springs for the honeymoon. They get back May 4th, and at the end of that month, they have that second wedding reception at Graceland. You can tell which pictures are the second wedding reception because Elvis's hair is a little different. It's a little more down in his face, and all the pictures are a little darker because it's held inside Graceland. But I lean a little bit more towards the Colonel because, as many of you know, Elvis didn't like confrontation. He was a tough guy. He knew what he wanted, but he didn't really like to rock the boat. He didn't like to ruffle feathers. And Colonel Parker was a very tough, intimidating type of guy, from what I've learned. And Elvis didn't want to challenge him. Now, you can blame Elvis because...
Okay, obviously this is Elvis's the man's views. I mean, of course, we know that Colonel Tom Parker was a tough guy, but Elvis was as well. Elvis was a tough guy as well. I actually think Elvis did challenge Colonel Tom Parker. I think Colonel Tom Parker and Elvis had loads of arguments. So obviously this is Elvis's the man. This is his channel, so he's giving his opinion. Let's keep going, guys.
As Elvis, you're a grown man. You could have had your friends there. If you didn't want to get married, you shouldn't have. And, you know, we can all understand the...
Okay, so Amy's going to find it for us that Red West stayed away for a while. My daughter was born 8 weeks early. My son 4 weeks early. So you can go over having... Yeah, I mean, it's a bit unpredictable, isn't it? I've had 5 kids. So, yeah, it's unpredictable. Do you notice, Lou, that Elvis didn't look happy at the wedding? I think his smile... Well, I've watched the wedding loads of times. I don't agree that he didn't look happy. I think he looked okay. So that's just my opinion, guys.
Pressure that Elvis was under, you know, you're going to go to the press and say some things that are true and, you know, embellish some things and also say some things that were false. I'm sure you know how people are. And Mr. Beaulieu wanted his daughter to marry Elvis and, you know, get that family name, which Priscilla has kept all these years. And, you know...
So, okay, let's just read a couple more comments. Yes, I agree. The first 3 weeks early and the other 4 was 2 weeks early. Vicenzo, that's because he didn't want to marry her. He was forced to. That's Pat's. Vicenzo, I agree. Okay.
Elvis, he should have stood up for what he wanted, but at the same time, Colonel knew Elvis's vulnerabilities and did things as he wanted them. Colonel didn't want a huge entourage around Elvis. Colonel wanted to keep people and other influences away from Elvis, so it just makes sense that Colonel, I believe, you know, maybe slighted some people in this process, but Elvis should have stuck up for what he wanted and what his friends wanted. Or maybe he just didn't.
So, you know, we'll never know the truth. We'll never know who Elvis really wanted at that wedding. I do find it strange that certain members of the Memphis Mafia were kept out of the wedding until, you know, obviously they had a honeymoon. I mean, sorry, they had a reception, at Graceland. So we weren't there. We don't know, do we? We can only guess. I am surprised that Red West was not there, I must admit, because they grew up together. They were in Hume's high school together. It doesn't really make sense.
I want him there, but it's hard to tell from, you know, all the different info and facts that we have. But that's what happened. They held a second wedding reception. Obviously, Red came back to work for him and Sonny as well. But, you know, some of those hurts never healed.
And I do agree with Pat that once Elvis did make that commitment, he did take it seriously. Obviously, they got pregnant very quick. Lisa Marie comes along very quickly. So I personally think Elvis took the marriage very seriously and also the pregnancy and the birth. I think what ruined everything was Priscilla being unfaithful with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, only months after Lisa was born, unfortunately. So
so that was the point of this video. I wanted to let you know about the second wedding reception that not too many people know about. I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers.
Okay, so I think that's it, guys. I'm gonna have to go. So we've been on for over an hour. So a very interesting live stream. Thanks for everyone that's been helping. Thanks for Amy. Obviously, Amy's very important to us. Auntie Amy has been helping us.
Daddy, can I show you what I made?
I think that the Colonel kept the wedding to the people who would talk sense into Elvis along with it. Okay.
Can I show you what
Yeah.
I made?
Come on. I have my want. Hi, Tony. So Tony, I have my WhatsApp on. Can you message me so you're in there? I need a number. Tony, send me a number, then I can message you. So of course I can. Let me just double check. You haven't messaged it now, have you? Let me just check my WhatsApp. So thanks, guys. We need a part 2.
Daddy, can I show them this?
Yeah, of course you can. 1 second. My lovely daughter is going to show you some stuff. Let me just get your messages up. So Tony, I'll give you my number. This is the number you use for my WhatsApp. 078 078 707 29218. And obviously the UK code is 044. Yeah. So I hope that works, Tony. Right. Bye everyone. But my daughter wants to show you the things she's been making. Right. Remember there, yeah.
So I'm playing with it right now. But so my mummy, she bought clay.
Speak up a little bit.
She bought clay for me for my birthday at school.
We need it to be higher.
And I'm playing with some now. And
let me get rid of this.
Yesterday I spent my time making 3 things.
Go on then, show them.
So this is my favourite one. I'm going to show you in my favourite order.
Move this a bit.
The order that I was in when I made it. So my first one that I made was my favourite. This one.
Should you move the camera nearer? Woo! Is it going to come nearer? There we go.
So it's like this little.
There you go.
I don't know what it is.
Do you want me to show them?
Yeah.
So Yasmin made this. It's a funny looking thing. It's very cute.
And the second thing I made.
Second thing.
This is my second favourite. And the second thing I made.
Let me show them.
It's a little alien.
There we go.
This one was called Penny. That one's called Ailey.
Ailey.
And this one was called, I forgot what it's called.
Penny.
And what's this one?
So they're all saying how nice it is, and Natalie says it's very pretty.
And this one? I forgot its name. It's a character.
It's a character. Cute.
I can't remember.
So what is this stuff called? It's called soft clay.
Soft clay.
Da da da.
I have loads.
And she even made a tiny little baby dog. Oh look, this is the soft clay. There's a lot of it there.
And cash.
This is how it comes. It comes in bags.
This one hasn't been touched or taken anything off it.
Oh, you're welcome, Shireen.
I love doing this too.
Yeah, Yasmin's feeling better now.
So
you were poorly off school, weren't you?
Yeah. So you do that, and then you put it from there, and then you.
So Larry said you're very creative.
It's a
Amy
few
Amy
images.
said you're a very talented girl. Frederick said brilliant, Yasmin. Tony said you're amazing. Thank you, Tony.
Daddy got a new computer.
Yes, we're on a new laptop. We're on a new laptop, yeah.
He sent 2 back, didn't he?
Very artistic, says Finola. Okay then. Josie says, so cute, Yasmin.
No, cute.
Cute,
Yasmin.
Yasmin. Thank you. Amy says you're a very smart girl. She likes compliments.
Be a princess.
I used to play with Play-Doh when I was a kid. You remember Play-Doh? Oh yeah, I do. Of course I do. Plasticine, we called it. We called it plasticine in the 70s.
Play-Doh is plasticine.
Okay, guys, we're gonna go. So, we're gonna have some dinner now. It's around, what time is it? It's around 4:34 in the UK. Now, Tony, try and message me on WhatsApp so I can reply to you. Use the number I've sent you, okay, Tony?
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, Play-Doh. We called it plasticine.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. A very interesting live stream about was Elvis forced to marry Priscilla. Very interesting. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all your help. Natalie, thank you. And Amy, thanks for all your help. All of you guys, thank you for joining in. And it's been a great discussion. Bye, Vincenzo. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later. Bye, Trudy. Thank you, Trudy.
Look. Eyes. Smiley
Bye,
face.
Tonya. Bye, Lorna. They're all saying goodbye to you.
Happy, happy, happy. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye. Happy, happy, happy.